Okay, this is Pinellas County. Okay, that's what she did. So guess what? She was scared. Hey, I got news for you. If I watch the news, I get scared. They're masters at scaring people. I mean, they've been doing it for 50 years. They know how to scare people. They got their little multicolored graphs and their little CGI this, and they got all these numbers. Like I said, I mean, the people are scared of numbers. You throw some the right numbers up in front of anybody, they'll get scared. You know, it's fear by numbers. Like paint by numbers. It's fear by numbers. It's manipulation by numbers. Okay, but and they got the nurses with all the gear. It's all the gear and all the guts. That's why I don't go anywhere near a hospital, because I don't want to have anything to do with all that garbage. All these little plastic this and plastic this and little metal pokey things and little tubes. I don't want any of that nonsense. No, 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 no. It's just all theater. That's all theater also. That's justification for bankrupting the population. It's, because you see all that stuff and it's like it has a psychological effect. It makes you afraid because it's like, oh my gosh, look at all this little beeping things and it's like, oh, flashing lights. Beep, 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 beep. It's like, I could never do all this. It's like, no, you couldn't, and you don't need to. It's all theater. It doesn't, like 98% of the time, it's just there to justify them bankrupting you. That's what it is. So anyway, she got scared and she said, I better go get tested for this stupid thing. And she tested positive, but you got to remember, she was just tired. That's all. She's like, like a 70 some odd year old. She was just tired. That's all. Okay, she wasn't like none of this stuff they put on TV where people are like big old masks on their face or like, oh, I mean, they just do that. It's just theater, right, to make people scared. She was just tired. She got involuntarily committed to this COVID camp. It was all old people. Nobody knows about this thing. Okay, nobody knows about it. But she had to call her stepson from freaking Wyoming to come down and hire an attorney to get her out. And these old people in this camp were dying, and I mean, it was crazy, right? And all she was tired, right? And that's the only symptom she ever had. She was just tired. And then she got over, like a week, 2 weeks later, she was over it. As soon as she got away from that COVID camp, everything got a lot better, right? Because that's depressing. And when you're depressed, you don't feel good. And depression alone all by itself can make you sick. If you're already sick and then they depress you, do something to make you feel depressed, on top of being sick, it's going to accelerate your decline. There's no question. So then that's a whole nother video. Why do they have a COVID camp? Why are they involuntarily committing select random people? Not everybody. If they committed everybody, then everybody would be talking about it. It would become an issue, wouldn't it? Just certain people. I think they're doing it because they're establishing the infrastructure for the camps. And then eventually they're going to accelerate the infrastructure. They're going to expand the infrastructure. After all the local authorities know about it, blah, blah, blah. And within the command structure of the community, with the control and governing structure of the community, it's a known thing among the population. It's like, we're clueless. We don't even know these things exist. But once it's known among them, then they can expand it, right? And then they can just involuntarily commit whoever they want. I think they only do the old people. I mean, it's just a theory. I mean, nobody knows, right? Because we know other old people that had COVID, and they just send them home and tell them to self-quarantine. So it's like very random. It's like they're just, it's like I said, predators, right? In that movie, Jurassic Park, they had those velociraptors, I think they were called, the things that hunted in groups. But anyway, they were testing. They said that the velociraptors were super intelligent in the movie. It's just a movie, but anyway, in the movie they were testing the perimeter, right? They were testing the perimeter to see where the weakness was, so they could escape from the enclosure. So I think that's my theory. It's just a theory. I have no idea, obviously, but my theory is that they're establishing the infrastructure of quote unquote COVID camps, right? And then once they get it set up, the basic concept, and like I said, they get the local authorities aware, blah, blah, blah. Everybody who's in control of things thinks that after a year or two, they think it's normal. It's just like, yeah, of course, we have this place and They just tell them whatever. Yeah, it's for the sick people. And, they don't. Half of them don't know. Half of them do. Whatever. Population knows nothing. Then they just like boom. They make it public, right? They make it public, and everybody's like, well, what the heck is this? And see, once it's that well established within the command structure, the governing structure of the community, then the public can complain about it all day long, but it's not going to go away because to them it's normal. It's like, yeah, well, it's been like this for 2 years. Why? It's like my brother used to joke around. He'd say he didn't want to get in trouble with his wife for buying a new gun, so he'd buy a new gun and put it in the closet and then take it out a year later, and his wife would say, "Where'd you get that from? What? I thought we were trying to save money, Bob." And he'd be like, "Baby, I've had this for like a year," and she'd be like, "Oh. Okay, well, I guess I just forgot." You know what I'm saying? So it's the same basic principle. It's like the public complains about these COVID camps, but the command structure, the governing structure of the community is like, what's the problem? These things have been around forever, and the community's just confused. It's like a form of gaslighting, right? You're confused. It's like, well, what do you mean they've been around forever? I haven't heard anything about this. But the judges, the police, the health authorities, and blah, blah, they all know about it, at least the ones who make the decisions do. So that's, like I said, that's just a theory. I mean, I never would in a million years. I've heard of COVID camps, but I've heard of them in like the known evil states like New York, Pennsylvania, wherever those 4 governors were that intentionally sent COVID infected people into nursing homes to drive up the COVID deaths because that's a whole other thing. But anyway, they needed as many deaths as they wanted because they didn't get all the deaths that they had planned to get because whatever. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But anyway, I heard about COVID camps in those states like New York, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and there's one more I can't think of. Maybe it was Virginia. I don't know. But there were 4 of them. But I didn't hear about any. And like Rick DeSantis, our governor, is like a known good guy. I never heard about any here, and I certainly never heard about it in my own county. So if this is a blue county, this is a Democrat county, so maybe that's why, But I don't know. It could be they could be all over the place, just very small, and they're careful about who they put in there. They only put people in there who don't have local family or who have any family. Nobody to stand up and speak for them. Like I said, this lady her stepson from Wyoming had to come in and hire an attorney to get her out, and it was a big, like, dramatic, expensive ordeal, I mean, so maybe they just put people in that don't have any family, and then they just make it the norm, and they start slowly expanding it, and then a few more people hear about it, a few more people, and all of a sudden everybody just thinks it's normal, and then they hype it, they keep hyping up how dangerous the thing is, and people like John Rice, they have, in his gender chimera mode, acting like your grandmother, wear your mask, oh, you're gonna die if you don't wear your mask, oh, everybody be afraid, so they got all these local leaders doing this theatrical routine, like stirring like a witch's brew of fear, on the one side, and then on the other side, they got these basically they're concentration camps, right? And or re-education camps, whatever you want to call it. Camps. I mean, they're COVID camps. I mean, but anyway, and it's a synergistic relationship between how much can we instill fear in the public and how much can we expand the camps, right? The more we can make the public afraid, the more we can expand the camps, and the more sense the camps make. The public's not afraid, the camps don't make any sense. So, that's what it is. That's what it is, I think, my opinion. Okay, so this turned out to be really long, like I thought it was going to be. God bless you. I appreciate you watching. If you did, this is video 3 of 3. Today is Friday. I don't know what time it is, but as long as it's not past midnight, it's still Friday, January 22nd, 2021. God bless you. Peace and blessings to you all. And I'd just like to refer you to the www.thehealthyamerican.org. That's Peggy Hall. She's based out of California, and she's a huge freedom advocate, medical freedom advocate. Basically talking about the unlawfulness the unconstitutionality of all of this mask hysteria and COVID hysteria and the medical and the scientific lies that are being told about all of this, just scaring everybody for political ends, for political reasons, you know. So she's a real champion. She's doing great work out there. Peggy Hall is her name. She's all over social media of any kind. The website is www.thehealthyamerican.org. I'd just like to encourage you all to go out there and learn about, the success that she's having and the challenges that she's facing. And by all means, if you can, join her in her fight wherever you live in your local area. Okay, so thanks again. God bless you. And thanks for watching my, 3 videos. Bye-bye.